Hey Hollywood fans, and welcome to this week's show. So as you can see, GXCC cap is on, which means we have been in the big edit for GXCC round number 3. Radium delivered the goods once again. Right at the early part of winter, always going to be a gamble, but we always know Radium is what it is. It's one of the toughest events on the calendar, and everyone who was out there will certainly testify that this was one of the most gnarly, tough GXCCs out there. The morning session for the juniors and the quads, not so bad. There was a little bit of wind, but in the afternoon, all that wind dropped, the temperature went up, and it was flat out. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de, Dust Bowl racing. Always spectacular out at GXCC. This is Radium. All this GXCC racing action is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. After a big gap in the calendar, the GXCC Tour arrives at their third round of the championship. Radium, sand, whoops, dust, bush and thorns. And everyone desperate to get championship points up and rolling. Here we go. All right, V, back at Radium, and we can't wait to go racing, eh?
Yeah, it's just over a year now since we've been here the last time. And I think now it's closer to the winter time, so last time we still had a lot of moisture in the ground, and this time around it's dry, so we can expect some dust. The nice thing is for the seniors, a big section is in the sand, so it'll shoot up and drop down, so not too much dust there, but I think in the forest and bushveld area there's going to be a lot of dust.
Thanks for that, Vian. Before the morning race, we went and chatted to a couple of quaddies and a couple of juniors. Okay, here, after all these years, you know what Radium's coming, hey?
Yes, Radium is a very fast race. A lot of dust, but yeah, it'll be a good one.
I just chatted to Vian. He's giving you an 18k lap. That's huge.
Yeah, I think we're gonna ride 2 laps, then we'll pit.
The 65 gate this year is just amazing, hey? What do you think has made the change?
It's a big gate. Well, not that big as last year, but it's still a big gate. We have a lot of competition, so yeah.
JL, it's the third round of the championship. It's Radium, it's sandy, it's whoopy. Tell us how the day's going to go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very slippery. It's very cold, so I'm very nervous. I hope I'm going to get a great start, get the whole shot, and just pull away. But I have a lot of competition, so yeah, I'm ready.
Maddie, halfway marker of the season. How are you feeling about this one?
Feeling pretty confident. Hopefully I do well. My bike, it's been through some tough times, like my last GXCC, chain snapped, and yeah, so just hope it goes well.
You got a good setup for the sand because it's going to be whoopy today?
I didn't actually know it's going to be sandy, but I'm glad it is because I like the sand.
Franco, I'm trying to remember, do you like this kind of terrain? Because it kind of feels like Rustenburg, eh?
Ja nee, dit is baie lekker hierdie trein is. Dis so dis amper soos Rustenburg. Dis waar ons oefen, dis waar ons elke dag ry. So ja, dis regtig lekker trein hierdie.
Yeah. And who's the competition today then? Because everyone seems to be coming out swinging now.
Ja nee, almal kom nou die kompetisie is nou regtig beter as wat laas jaar was. 'n Bietjie meer fietsers nou uitkom, so dis lekkerder. Dit kom daar. So sê dit bly daarvoor.
Tinos, how are you feeling about this one? Halfway through the season, and this is the sand pit.
Yes, no, really excited for today. I think most of the riders here know this terrain. It's going to be a really hard day in the saddle, but yeah, looking forward to it. In the start of the season, I had a bit of bad luck with some bike problems and stuff. So new bike today, and yeah, hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, tell me about the setup for this as well. Sand, whoops. You're not really sitting down much.
No, yes, I know Vian said that it's actually changed, well, not a lot of the route, but we're actually next to the old route. But we all know what's going to happen in the sand. As soon as the quads start going through, the new ruts are going to be there. It's going to be hard work, I know. And as soon as the sun comes out and the heat starts picking up, the bikes are going to be running hard.
Tell me about the setup with the team here. It seems to be growing bigger and bigger every time.
No, it's really great. I think we're about 12 or 13 riders, and it's still growing. You know, sponsors are coming in, and without the sponsors, you know, we can't actually do this. It's expensive sport. But yeah, we're growing and really, really grateful.
Francois, it's been a tough championship so far this year. Can we turn things around here at Radium?
Well, that's the plan. Had a tough start to the year, some breakdowns and things like that. Wires in the on the rear axle and so on last time. So this time I'm hoping for a clean run. Hope the fitness is there, because I see there's a lot of competition there this year. So let's see what we can do.
Radium, sand, whoops, have you got it?
Not my favorite place to be, but I'm gonna give it my all.
Let's bring him to the line. Q1's, bit skinny on the gate, but tough competition nonetheless. In the championship, it's a 2-horse race, but on the whole shot, it's a one-man show. Brian Herbst drops the hammer once again, gets his nose ahead of Franco Ferri. Ron Muller was out there as well to see what he could do. They would be trying to live on as long as they could before the charging Q2s came through and chased into the dust. For the Q2s, Gravity Racing All-Stars, Sean Kutzer and Tinas Kutzer were out there doing their thing, one on a KTM and one on a Honda, but they'd be chased down hard by JJ Baitenbach, who'd come off an incredible win at the previous round, as well as Vernon Pretorius and Davy Van Staden on the big 4x4. Van Staden was an outside bet for a good run, especially later on in the day when the track started to deteriorate. For the Quad Masters, all about Xander Branken and the Can-Am. He has got that thing absolutely dialed in. A 3-rider gate once again with Fernando de Santos. Darren Moyle getting it done. Moyle making the bold move up from WOW class into the Masters. On the next gate, the Quad Veterans. Very classy and eclectic field here as well. Barney Barnard and the big Can-Am 4x4 running off the front, gloveless as well. And the Honda of Francois Smallberger, chased down by Francois Berger himself, the man that is trying to reignite his championship challenge once again. Not a bad run off the gate, third out off the back wheel of the Honda. And we went back and checked out on the ladies' gate. Carly Simon, untouchable as always, but Corinne Thiessen is starting to build up her championship challenge to see what she can do. We also had Liesl Barnard out there, this time swinging a leg on the 4x4, and Kern Brits making a 4-rider lady gate going out there into the big 50-kilometer loop. Remember, the quads would be the first bikes and quads on the day to see the big course. For the juniors, slightly smaller gate this time around for the 85 seniors, but Murray Smith was going to be the kid to beat once again. Franco Ferri, the famous 400, getting it done, as well as a ton of juniors trying to make their way up and onto the top steps of the podium. Gotta love the 85s at the moment. They're bringing us the biggest gates in the juniors. The junior 85s, this was going to be a wild one. Jake the Snake was firing back on all cylinders. Liam Skipper's coming off his first big win, and Drickus van der Merwe getting it done out there. Drickus was a good bet. He's a big kid and he knows how to muscle the bike around on this testing terrain. Would he be able to survive the day? This kid's going to get dizzy out there on a super fast flowing 18k loop. On the 65cc juniors, the whole shot machine that is Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen was back there once again, but all eyes were on Geerje Kutsia, the championship points leader, as well as Maddie Mayo, Wilco Deploy, and Declan Richards. These 4 riders at the moment are the class of the 65cc field. Top 65s would chase their way onto the back wheel of the 85s early on lap number 1. On the 50cc gate, interesting to see Sebastian Nell out there doing it once again. Kellen van Deventer, Lincoln Deister strong, and also the 503 of Campbell Dupree trying to lock in and nail down the big GXCC championship. Keep an eye on the 503. Remember, round number 3 of the championship here at Radium marks the halfway knuckle of the 6-round championship. The first time that the GXCCs has ever run a tight, no throwaway series. So as always, take us through the morning session. Let's start with the juniors.
Yeah, juniors, we've increased the distance of their loop a little bit. They've got an 18.8 kilometer loop. So what we've done is for them is just reverse the track from last year. But what we've also done is included about a 1.5 kilometer section of the senior track from last year, which is going through the thick sand. You know, this place is well known for the thick sand. And I just thought it would be a good idea to start introducing the little ones to some of that thick sand to get them ready for when they become seniors one day.
Good thinking. It's all about preparation as we go out into the fields and start climbing the ladders. On the 50cc gate, Trav Levy, one of the big kids out there on the 50cc's, incredibly enough, he is still going to be running 50s next year. He's going to be dwarfing that little bike. He's rocking and rolling out there, but the power to weight is definitely against him. Ashland Denton was a little bit further up the road in a number 7 ride, with David Gordon jumping up on the J333 to a number 6. That's a podium placing out here at the GXCC's, riding out of the Spherical Logistics Husqvarna race squad. The Daysters are starting to become key riders to watch on the GXCC tour across almost all of the junior categories. Lincoln Dayster getting it done on the J125 in the number 5 spot. He was dicing it out all day with Eben Scholz and Sebastian Nell. That was a very close dice to see who was going to actually step onto the coveted podium placings. Eben Scholz getting it done on the J999 to a number 4 spot. Sebastian Nell up the road onto a number 3 on the J250. All three of the top campaigners did actually make their way onto a 4-lap racing format. Nell and Scholz were all over each other in the early part of the day, eventually Nell coming out on top. 3rd place and 4 laps under the belt. The top 2 ran the fastest pace of the morning session on the 50cc's. Campbell Duprier on the J503 getting it done just a few moments off the back wheel of Kellen Van Deventer. Van Deventer on an absolute burner in the 2023 championship. This is going to be the war to watch as we only have 3 rounds remaining on the tour. Up the road onto the 65cc juniors, Matty Mayer was looking good in the early part of the day, and then early on lap number 4 had a big ouchie over the bars. Scorpion Grind rung his bell and he was going to be out. Looks like he might be out for the rest of the championship as well. Fast healing to Mayer. Carver Godrich was up the road into a number 8, with Alwetu getting it done into a number 7. Great to see Alwetu starting to perform at the GXCC's. A lot of the kids coming across the border from Botswana, and some of our outlying areas to come and race on what is one of the best and fastest cross-country tours at the moment. Alexander Nemeth was up into a number 6, giving him a rock-solid finish on the championship tour. We'll watch for the number 5 as he improves and builds pace. And then the top 5 kids were all on the lead lap. That's 5 laps counted of an 18k loop, so they really felt that when they came home as well. They knew they'd been out there on the Radium terrain. Ewan Fourie taking a number 5 with Wilco Deploy, the best of the fast kids out front at the moment, taking a number 4 finish. Looked like he just faded a little bit towards the end of the race. Pierre Kurtzia as well on the final lap, having some mechanical issues, but good enough to take 3rd place. That keeps him still in the championship lead and the championship hunt, but he'd have been nervous those last couple of kilometers. JL, Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, into a number 2 spot, so starting to really look good for his dice to try and climb that ladder in the championship challenge. The 65cc's championship seems to have just come to life here at Radium, but it's always cool to talk about a new winner on the tour. The guy that was almost unstoppable in the first half of last season's 50cc gate now moves up into the 65s, and Declan Richards takes his first win on the 65s out here at Radium. Moving up the road then into the stacked gate of the junior 85s, and once again we saw the biggest entries coming in from this tour. Xavier Pina with a number 10, Alexander Dillman with a number 9, Tuken Morahi taking it to a number 8, with Ning Tulani getting it done to a number 7. Solid numbers and very close racing. In fact, all of the guys inside the top 10 on the junior 85s staying on the lead lap. That always shows you how close the racing really was. 5 laps counted for the big top 10ers. Bryson Dayster, one of the big kids out there on the junior 85s, really muscles the bike around. He's got a great riding style where he really plants the bike onto the ground. And the J353 is starting to get those moves going and climbing up the ladder. Radicolo Lathagili gets it done onto a number 5. You can see he's a motocross racer, the way he is up there dancing the bike around. Maybe not the most fluid rider, but definitely the most exciting and attacking rider to watch. Liam Skippers, coming off his big win at the previous round at round number 2, drops down to a number 4. He also took a big dive on the last lap and came across the line in a fair amount of pain, but did walk away with a number 4 spot, and he'll be pretty pumped on that. For Gravity Racing, Twane Tienpont gets her highest ever finish at the GXCC's, mixing it up with the big dogs and running a number 3 spot. Check out the riding style on this chick. She is an absolute burner. and she takes a rock-solid number 3 ride just off the back wheel of Jake the Snake Victorious. After those horrific injuries that he picked up a couple of years back, Jake the Snake on the Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki is back on the money once again. It won't be long until we see him challenging for wins, but it's Drickus van der Merwe all the way, baby. He is up there on the J150, hammering the nail and dominating this gate. Looks like he's moving up into senior 85s next year, and I think the rest of the junior 85s will be happy to see the back of this kid because he is on a ripper. On the senior 85s, once again, Gravity Racing getting strong going in there. Matthias Tienpot getting it done on the C103, having a huge dice in the early stages of the race with Ben van Skalkbeek, Dylan Besadenhout and Hanyu de Kock. Hanyu de Kock getting picked up this season by the Bikers Warehouse Husky squad. One of the kids we've watched coming all the way through from the 50s to the 65s. He's now climbing up into the senior 85s. He also took a big dive, removed the peak off his lead helmet, went cannonball for the rest of the day, dropping down to a number 7 finish. Kakliso Kasipo gets it done to a number 6 ride, and Clayton Human brings out the old 150 for Pepsi Plastics on the Kawasaki, but it was a good setup for him, and he takes one of his best and smoothest finishes of the season. Number 5 spot for Human, starting to build momentum at the halfway knuckle of the championship. Tully Stratum has been in it to win it the whole way through the season. He knows what he's doing. The J711, we keep an eye on this kid. He's going to start climbing the ladder and challenging for those number 3 spots. Willem Buerta takes his best ever finish on the GXCC, so Radium and the Sandpit definitely playing into this kid's wheelhouse. Up the road, it was all about Derek van Aswegen. A lonely second place finish for the motocross superstar. It's only his second ever GXCC race. Remember the J111. This guy is going to be a kid to watch out for. I think we convinced him to come back and play with us, because he may well be able to be the only kid that can challenge on pace against this dude. Murray man, Murray Smith has entered and won every single race this year. If it's a GXCC, if it's a hair scramble, whatever it is, Murray is on a clean scorecard right now and looking to try and wrap up the championship early on the GXCCs and focus in on the national championship. But for the franchise co-sleep over Honda factory racing team, Murray takes another checkers here at Radium. We caught up with the kids after the race. And I guess these wins are coming a little bit easy, but tell me about the track out there today.
It was quite rough on the first lap, but once the track started to evolve, it started to get quite smooth, and it was a really nice marked track.
You obviously saw us out there chasing after you. It was a fast one, hey?
Yeah, it was very fast. I was hitting speeds not that I usually hit. It was very fast, and then it went very tight near the end.
Busy campaign for you this year. Obviously, next week you go straight up to the Nationals, eh?
Yeah, it's very busy, but we're making way.
Bro, what a result. Your second ever GXCC and you're banging. Tell me about your day.
It was very nice, but I slid into a thorn bush and it hurt, and my hands got sore and I got tired, but it was very fun. The track's nice. It's very good.
We love it when the motocross kids come across because you bring some kind of intensity, and obviously you're a sandmaster, hey?
Yeah, I love the sand.
Tell me about the rest of the season. It's a short season, but it's going to be busy.
Yeah, we think we want to do all the races. We're going to try to do all the races, but I don't know about that.
Twane, you're on a burner this year. What has made the difference in your riding?
Just like my sponsors, training with Lawrence, and just training on the hard tracks and making sure Drickus and Liam is going to see their ass today.
Dick, how cool is this? We're at round number 3 of the GXCCs. You just won the 65s. Tell me how the day went.
It was very fast, a lot of dust, but I just pushed through.
Tell me, it was a good gate. I thought JL got you off the gate, so the pass was out there in the fields, eh?
Not very easy. It was a little bit of a fight, but it was fun.
Now, this is your first Pro 65 win, so can we expect some more throughout the rest of the season?
Yes.
Yo, dude, tell me about their day.
Ja, het was baie lekker net. Jo, die dik sand was baie erg. Ek het daar met die hoops het ek baie gesukkel, want by baadjies bietjie te kort en joh, baie uitgegly, maar joh, het was baie lekker.
Love those reactions from the kids. It was baie lekker. Here's the 85 seniors, Murray Smith on top ahead of Van Aswegen, Buerta, Stratum and Human. In the junior 65s, it's all about Drickus van der Merwe, the big kid. taking it to Jake the Snake, and Twane Tiempront gets her highest finish for Gravity team in the number 3 spot. 65's all about Declan Richards, standing on the top step for the very first time, beating out his stablemate from Vans Racing, John-Luc van der Westhuizen, with Geer in the number 3 spot. Kellen van Deventer takes the win on the 50s ahead of Campbell Dupria and Sebastian Nel. That wraps up our junior show. We get ourselves ready for the quaddies. What have they got in store? And then the quads, good numbers on the quads actually. Fun to see those guys coming back. Talk to me about their loop in the morning.
Yeah, we were worried a little bit in the beginning. We saw the numbers were quite low for the quads, and then in the last 2 days we saw the numbers increasing. So their loop is going to be 50 kilometers. Let's call it 49.9 to be exact. Also, reverse order from last year for the track. They are going to be busy out there. We did cut new lines in the thick sand so that they don't have to stick on the same line as last year. But we know after the first, second lap, then it's going to start getting hoopy there. It's 20 kilometers of non-stop sandy sections, and it's going to keep the guys busy. Look, after that, there's a little bit of breathers space where they can just relax a little bit. But yeah, the thick sand, that's all we can really talk about in this place.
For the quads, bit of a quad eater was this track. Korean Tierson would have been looking to try and finish on the lead lap, but she unfortunately had mechanicals, dropping down and only completing 2 laps of the race. That meant that Kern Brits was jumping up. She stayed on the lead lap, one of the best rides we've seen out of Kern Brits, getting a number 3 ride going. Definitely got a solid setup on her machine. Liesel Barnard chose the weapon of choice for this terrain. It was all about Can-Am 4x4, 1000 cc's of action under your right thumb. And she stayed on the lead lap, getting a number 2 spot finish going. But it's gnarly Carly Simon getting it done once again. No issues on her 450 Yamaha EMD Q-Con racing machine. And she goes clean at the top of the pile once again, hammering the nail and putting in some eye-watering lap times as well. For the quad veterans, Francois Berger, big crash, snapping his handlebars.
It's a long way, dude. Go chat to Brian, he'll tell you. It's just there.
Trying to just find his way back to the pits. Completed lap 1, but that was it. He will score points though for a 5th place finish. Darby the Vet gets one of his nicest rides going. A number 4 finish, 3 laps counted in pure survival mode. The guys that ran on the lead lap though, 4 laps counted for the top 3. Francois Smallberger, he has seen a GXCC win before on one of the older Hondas out there, the 450 machine, hanging together to get him to the podium on a number 3 ride. Mario Buerta, in his comeback season, is building pace at every single race. One of the Middelburg races out there on the LTR 450. Gets it done into a number 2 spot. He wasn't far off the win, I can tell you that right now. He's coming. He's building pace, is Buerta. But it was Barney Barnard. He loves this terrain. He loves his Can-Am 4x4. He doesn't love wearing gloves though. He missed most of the bush and he got the podium nailed down here at Radium. Watch out for Barney Barnard to build on this result to possibly become a championship challenger. For the Quad Masters, just a 3-rider gate this time around. A big hole shot coming in for Xander Branken, but a big mechanical on lap number 2 sent him to the bleachers. 3rd place scored on points though. Darren Moyle takes his highest ever finish on the Quad Masters then on his stocker, getting a number 2 ride going and 3 laps counted under his belt. But once again, consistency pays the bills. And it's once again, can you hear the drums? Fernando de Santos on the L75, the big 700cc Raptor. And the guys said the big quads were an absolute handful. But they also said they stand a little bit higher and you can just dance them through the whoops a little bit nicer. 4 laps counted on the lead lap. Fernando de Santos should be your championship points leader in the Quad Masters coming out of this round now. For the Q2s, it was a nightmare for some of the Gravity Racing team. Tinas Kutzer on a spare bike, having problems, dropping down to a number 4 ride after mechanical issues sent him into the pits.
Ja, so is 'n bietjie van 'n was ooit 10 nie 'n lekker storie op lap 1 nie. Maar ja, ons kyk vir 'n quick fix.
At the end of the day, Tinas Kutzer, only 2 laps scored and counted for him. His teammate getting it done for Gravity Racing once again, Sean Kutzer, also only 2 laps scored and counted for him as he encountered some issues out there on the course as well. Dolby Van Staden kept his nose clean on the big 4x4, jumping up to a number 2 ride. He's been on the podium a couple of times throughout his racing career, and he'll also be credited with points for a second place finish, which will see him jump up in the championship. Only 2 riders stayed on the lead lap coming out of the Q2s, and that was Dolby Van Staden and the eventual now 2-time GXCC race winner, JJ Buitenweg. This guy is going to be jumping up and challenging for the championship come the end of the season now. Kutzer has got his hands full. In the GXCC Q1s, just 3 riders going out the gate. Only 1 rider staying on the lead lap. Ron Miller dropping out after lap 1. Brian Herbst, after taking the whole shot, also dropping out around about the halfway marker of lap number 2. With all the oil out of the engine, he decided to park it on the sideline, and that meant Franco Pretorius was gone, off and running. Franco loves this kind of terrain. He's a Rustenburg kid, and we are going to Rustenburg later on in the season. Right now, the terrain suited this dude and the Yami down to the ground. The championship remains ever tight as Franco takes another win. Franco, that did not look easy, dude.
Ja nee, dat was regtig makkelijk. Het was een rode baan geweest, dus het al heel deurgestoeid, maar ze hebben het klaar gemaakt en ik was happy.
I saw you were playing with Brian early on, and then I think his bike let go.
Ja nee, dat was lekker tof gespeeld, lekker saam gereden eerst begin, toen heb je gezadig gegaan en was ook gemeen, toen zei fiets door de lap gebreekt, maar het was lekker geweest.
Barney, tell me about your day, dude, because I know you're a tough guy, but that was a tough race.
Ja, dit was baie lekker geweest. It's a difficult baan. Jy weet eers maar met die sand en die goeters, baie hoeps en goeters, so met die sware quad was dit taaf geweest, maar dit was baie lekker geweest.
And can I go buy you a set of gloves now or what?
Nee. Ek ry net so. Jy sien daar's niks blaas in nie, so ja, ek geniet my quad en is lekker.
Let's talk about the quads for a minute. We saw a lot of guys line up for this one, but Radium is always tough on the quads, but I know you guys love it.
Baie lekker baan. Soos ek gesê het, hy het baie hoeps en goeters met die sand. Die two-wheelers met daar's baie hoeps wat die quads nou uitgery het, maar dit bly altyd 'n lekker baan.
Thanks, Barney. Let's check out the results. Confirmation of Pretorius taking the win over Herbie and Muller in the Q1s. Q2s, Buitenweg stands on the top step for the second time in his career, beating out Van Staden and the 2 Kutzers. Into the veterans, De Santos takes the win ahead of Moyle and Branken, but Branken should be able to fight back at the next round. Barney Barnard takes the big win ahead of Buertos and Smallberger. Watch out for that challenge to start building. Barnard on a ripper right now. Into the ladies, Carly Simon gets it done once again. Liesel Barnard is there, and that's going to be the fight for the title as we move forward into the second half of the season. That was the morning session with the juniors and quads wrapped up in a bow. We turn our attention to the motorcycles. And with it being a short championship is the name of the game here at Radium. And then for the afternoon session, the motorbikes, they're obviously going to be big numbers. A lot of the big players are here as well, and we're at the halfway marker of the championship.
Yeah, it's important not to miss a race. I know some of the big dogs running up front, like Mark. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it for this round. So it opens up the game for the guys in second and third place to creep back on some of the points. It's important this time of the year not to miss out on any races, because it's really going to make it difficult for the championship towards the end of the year.
With that in mind, we head down to the pits pre-race to chat to the players. Hey Skinny, ready for this one?
Yeah, no, ready. It feels like we haven't been racing for a bit. It's been a little bit of a break, so excited to get back out there. Yeah, feeling fit, comfortable, ready to finally get my championship back on the rails. It's been a bit of a tough start, but yeah, very excited to go out here today.
Listen dude, back in motocross days, which was just the other day, you were good in the sand. This has got you all over it.
Yeah, sand's always been my thing since the 50s. I've been riding sand. I can't wait to go ride some thick sand. Hopefully it's nice and rough. And yeah, it's going to be a tough day, but I think that's what's going to make it good.
I got to ask, are you going to hold anything back today because of the double header next weekend?
Obviously you don't want to go hurt yourself, but I don't think there's a reason to ride conservative. I'm here to win, and I'm sure everyone else here is here to win. When that flag drops, you can't really hold it back anymore. The racer in me will just come out. So,
Johnny B, how are you feeling about this one? It seems like we haven't gone ripping bars in a long time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I did the KZN regional last weekend, so I'm racing fit, and I'm just going to try and do my best today, try and get a podium, and just improve from the previous GXCC.
It's been a tough start to this year, but that gate, we talked about this earlier this year, that gate.
Yeah, it's a tough gate. I mean, the top 10 guys can win on any day, and but it's good. It improves the sport, improves us, it makes us go faster, so it's going to be good racing today.
V, rock and roll, here we go again.
Yeah, no, excited to be out at Radium. It's always a fun event for me, especially the sand. I must say I'm quite familiar with the sand, so really looking forward to it. Yeah, I think the terrain will be lekker, especially now that the track is a bit different. So hopefully it's going to be exciting for all the new, for the Oaks as well, for some new terrain. Yeah, I'm all excited. The bikes are prepped, the team is ready, I'm healthy, so no, looking forward to a great day.
How weird is it that we're in June and it's only GXCC 3?
I thought of it this morning. I'm like, what GXCC are we at? So it's quite strange. Normally we're in 4-5 rounds now by June, so it's definitely strange. But yeah, I mean the racing's going to pick up now, national next weekend. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I've got exam duties, but oh well, it's all good. So missing that one out, but yeah, it's just lucky to be at the races again. So yeah, all good.
Kenny back on the money once again, and you got an old bud on the gate with you, eh?
Yeah, myself and Lawrence are back on the gate. No, we've actually been training together, so it's actually we're bringing a lot of fun to the races now. It's not all about winning; it's pretty much out there. Winning's giving it your best, you know. And myself and Lawrence are going to go out and have some fun. I don't know if the other guys are coming, Wade and Karam, but yeah, I think we're just going to go out and have some fun and just represent seniors.
For you, it's just enjoying the old tracks that you remember, eh?
Yeah, that's it, and survival. Try not crash and just, yeah, bring it home and just enjoy it pretty much.
Hey, Big Viking, last time you jumped onto the red machine, but you just got it, so there was some teething issues. Now she looks dialed.
Yeah, I think it's dialed. I did do my exercising, I did spend some time on the bike, so let's hope for a good one for today.
Masters Gate's pretty solid this year, hey?
It is. Peter and Wayne is in form, so I had to pull up my socks and make sure that I can dial in and see what happens to the fitness later.
Francois, out here on the Pro 001 Big Banger Gate, and you're representing for Yamaha. Tell me about the ride.
Yeah, we're trying to. Yamaha's not been in the off-road lately, so we're getting them back. SMG Yamaha's come on board, and we try and run the pace at the front.
Tell me about the setup for today. Obviously, you're going out there into the sand pit. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, I'm comfortable with the sand. My local training track is sand, so can't complain. It's a jol, and sand has always been fun.
You're good off the gate, but you've got to be real good today.
Yeah, I see Ian is on a new bike. A-Gates is here on a 450 as well, but my last start has been good, so I've been training on them, so yeah, we'll be there.
Roller, everyone's stoked to have you back on the gate, and with some freshies as well.
Yeah, so awesome being back on the gate. I love this terrain. Grant sorted me out with this awesome gas through Fast KTM and Gas South Africa, so it's so nice. Setup is on point. Justin sorted me out with Olin's, so yeah, can't be more happy, eh?
Yeah, I saw you blew up the internet a week ago, but how much time have you actually had on this thing?
A week.
Yeah.
So let's see. But the good thing is, because I'm used to the Austrian bikes, it took me literally 3 days and I already felt comfortable, and the setup was dialed already, so I think we're going to have a good day today, and yeah, feel safe, feel comfortable. Dunlops is going to hook up in this terrain, eh?
Big Banger Gate is stacked today, so obviously there's about 6 or 7 of you guys that are going to go banging.
Yes, yeah. Always stacked gates, so it's nice having everyone here. I wish Mark was here. Come on, Mark, we need to race. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good day. Some good racing, and yeah, let's see what happens.
Yo, dude, here we go. This is Dust Bowl whooped out racing. Have you got this?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about this 125 gate this year, because obviously Karam kind of is good in this terrain, but you're getting better.
Yeah, getting better. Just trying to keep up with Kareem. Hopefully can get whole shot today and keep him back.
Maddie, back at Radium, what do you got?
Oh, I'm keen for Radium, eh? Sandy, rough track. I'm excited. I've been doing a lot of sand training, preparing for Vryburg, the national next weekend. I think today is going to be a good day. Hoping for a whole shot. It's one I've been looking for a long time now. And besides that, if I don't get whole shot, it's going to be a dusty day, but that's going to be fun.
You think the 250s have got it for the big overalls today as well?
No, I think today is going to be a bit of a bigger bike track. For the 450s, 350s, they're going to pull in this thick sand. But I'm going to make my 250 sing for sure.
Scotty H. Radium, last time on a 350, now it's the big dog.
Yeah, last year I had a good battle out here with Kiram on the 350, but yeah, it was kind of a last minute call with Uncle Kev, and we're just like, let's come out here, have some fun. Haven't done a GXCC this year due to like being off with my knee injury and focusing on the nationals, but we're out here on the big 450, and yeah, we're gonna see what happens today, have fun and learn a couple of things and see where we end up.
Right, there's 250 gate and Radium, what do you got?
Hey, I'm excited. I've
been racing here for a while, since 85s, 125s, and with a few of the people in my class. So it's good to be back here, and I'm looking forward to banging bars with them again.
Going backwards on this track, is that going to whoop things out in a different way or what?
I can't actually remember what the track was like here. I just know it's very soft sand, and then there's some hard pack sections, but I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be good.
Dad, this is a good track for you, 350. You could be on for the overall again.
Yeah, gonna see how it goes. Ready for the national next weekend, so don't want to make any mistakes this weekend. 350 is gonna be good, yeah. Quite fast apparently, sandy sections, I like that. So we'll see how it goes. Try and go for overall, but if it's a bit dangerous, we'll just play it safe. Rather go for the overall next weekend when it counts.
Here we go, let's get on the gate then. The big bangers lined up. No Mikey Pentecost, no Gareth Cole, but everyone else was out there to rip the bars off. Scotty H on a 450 for the first time ever. He ran good pace here last year on a 350, and now he's got clear air on the big dog. Himself running out there. Brawler now on the gas, looking good as well, with JC Nienaber on his wheel. This was going to be a fast race. In the OR2 Pros, no big surprise to see Dav Cocker on the factory Husky getting the job done there. He had Brad Burrell, Matty Sneeman and Teek Harrower for company. Those guys would not see Cocker for long in the morning. Onto the OR3 gate, Tyron Beverly, the skinny kid, getting it done out there, grabs the whole shot. Eltz's there, Björn Wenzel, Johnny Burter, Maddie Wilson stuck in the mid-pack, but he came through nice and quick, and he had to. Those were desperate times in the early corners before Wilson popped out into the felt just ahead of Beverly. On the high school Screaming Weasels, it was Derek Karam that got the cheese on the Moto Clerkstop Yamaha, getting it done and putting it ahead of Timmy Blake. Clarkey was there as well as Westerdale. Westerdale's looking good, but this will be the first time that he saw the big whoop sections. On the senior gate, Mahoney stalling out off the line, giving the big hole shot to Kenny G. Lee Thompson was there with Kochi and Yanni Potkita for close company in the early stages. Mahoney would come through quickly, but he made his life hard on lap number 1. For the Masters gate, Peter Hall gets his first ever big hole shot. Yes, please, the big guy dropping the hammer ahead of the Viking. That's Kurvis Jonk. Van der Walt was there on the Sherco. Farmer fluffed it off the line, so he'd have to charge through, and he also had to get through on Andre Mostert, who came out of the gate inside of the top 5. For the Veterans Gate, also good numbers on the page. On this terrain, no one's going to be beating Jeff Den, and no one beat him to the pin either. Den getting the whole shot, Marty Poole there with him. Willem Swickers, Stefan Bagnall and Dick Bessinger getting it done out there as well. Then we turn our attention to the Pro-Am gates. Pro-Am OR1s, Hardest Fenter getting it done on the Yami head with Burry Smith, Shane Nienaber, Thorn Blake and big Chris Harmser also coming out of the gate inside of the top 6. But the Yami was gone. OR2s, all Ben Roostradam, the C215, looking good for the championship. He was joined early on by Xander King on the Smoker Yami. Gav Young was going to be up there as well as Jan Vermeulen and Stoffel Berger. But the whole shot was all in the hands of Stradam as he ran off the front, elbows high. OR3 Pro-Am gate, always going to be a wild one. Keanu Fisser got a good run off the gate, as did Raymond Language. Andrew Mostert getting his high-speed racing underway as well. He was sitting inside of the top 4 in the early stages of the race, but the whole shot was all about Fisser starting to run and hide. On the OR4 gate, we had a lot of junior move-ups there. Drickus van der Merwe was there, Franco Ferry, John Bart Moritz and Chris Harmsen Jr. once again for the first time out on his RM125 at a GXCC. Queen Catherine Mostert of ANCAT Engineering got the big hole shot, or she thought she did. Natasha Tupuk taking it to her. The two ladies banging bars early on. Unfortunately, the pocket rocket, Nicole Duplessis, not fueling her bike before she came to the line, so she would come through traffic and join the race a little bit later on. Pro-Am ladies, a little bit thicker on the gate. The Compans were there, Danelle Janse, Myrtle Tehran, but it's Bianca Edwards, who everyone is trying to beat at the moment. She just got her nose ahead coming out of the whole shot chicanes and ran out into the fields to complete our rider lineups. Let's go out and see what the afternoon had in store.
So the seniors are going to start out with twists and turns. It's going to separate the guys a little bit just to get to the first road crossing. From there on it opens up, so they're going to be able to hang cable a little bit. And after that it's working their way all the way back to where they're going to get to the sand section, 20 k's of sand. They're going to get an introduction to sand before that, just a couple of patches, and then after that it's just sand for 20 k's, and then a nice bushveld section again, and then a fast section coming back towards the pit. So it's a bit of everything, and I think they're going to enjoy it, just to have a breather before and after the sand section.
"50 kilometers of dust, sand and pain." The Compons were out there getting it done. Shelley Compon in a number 5 spot with Nicole. She's been burning the laps up, hitting every event this season in 2023, improving with every single lap. Nicole getting a number 4 finish. Danelle Janse getting it into a number 3. Myrtle Turon stays on the lead lap with 3 laps under her belt. Very strong ride from Myrtle. She's improving big time, and this was a tough testing day in the saddle. Bianca Edwards rocking and rolling the C222 to another win. She stays on this form. She's going to be nailing down this championship nice and early in 2023, and then heading to the Pro Gate. Nicole Duplessis did eventually start and get herself up there, but only tagged 1 lap before she unfortunately had her issues out there, dropping out to a number 3 finish. The lead lap was 3 laps counted for Natasha Topuk. She's good, but there's one lady better, and that is Catherine Mostert. Queen Cat, the queen of the Farm Jams, is quickly becoming the queen of the GXCCs as well, as she hammered the nail out there in Radium. Not the terrain that she enjoyed, but she likes standing on the top step. With the ladies done, we turn our attention to the kids who are stepping up from the junior categories. Chris Harmser Jr., his first GXCC out on the RM125, tagged 2 laps before he called it quits for the day. The C1 of Carl Vormerans was up there onto a number 7 finish, trying to chase up onto the back wheel of Dylan Besadenhout. And man, did Vormerans get a little bit loose there, but he did actually save that and carried on to finish a 3-lap racing format. Remember, most of these kids have been out there in the morning section as well, so double duties, and it did unfortunately come back and bite a few of them. Most of the kids completing a 3-lap racing format. Ahead of Dylan Besadenhout, Alexander Freeman was up there. Stefan Clerk getting it done into a number 4 spot, trying to get up close and personal with the cameraman. A lot of the riders just getting a little bit wild, loose and crazy as they got more and more tired. Little Franco Ferri did a good run in the morning session, still the smallest kid out there on the Roost KTM, getting it done, rocking some factory Olin suspension as well. Drickus van der Merwe had a good run, taking the big win in the junior 85s in the morning session, and then second place in the afternoon, running a 4-lap racing format. And John Bart Moritz as well, another kid doing double duties, took his old school livery Husky, but a brand new Husky all the way to the tippy top step. Let's start to climb the ladder then into our Pro-Ams, starting with the OR3s. Francois Smallberger Jr. with a injured pinky finger. It sounds like nothing, but man, it's so sore when it happens to you. Dropping down to a number 8 finish, just off the back wheel of Francois Swat. Dean Buerta was up the road on the C488, and he stayed on the lead lap as well. All of the riders inside of the top 7. 4 laps scored and counted, even though most of them were missing their braking markers at almost every single turn. Estienne Kutzer was good enough for a number 5, chasing onto the back wheel of Brandon Herbst. Herbie has been bringing home the bacon at every single round. He's looking good for a top 3 potentially come the end of the championship tour. The guys that did run the top 3 though, a surprising result for Andrew Mostert. He's a technical wizard out there on some of the more gnarly terrain. This is the first time he actually used his entire gearbox. At one point actually leading the race on the ANCAT Engineering KTM and dropping down on the last lap to a number 3 ride eventually. Up the road from him was Ruben Stratham, getting it done on the C2, always on the back wheel, putting a show on for us out there on the track. But it was Keanu Visser who had a good run of form, a great all shot, and ran the numbers up there. His pace shows me that he can move up into pros in 2024. Visser, very impressive the last couple of seasons, moving all the way through the junior ranks and now cutting his teeth in the Pro-Ams. OR2 Pro-Am category, the guys that are dicing it out on the 350s predominantly, and a couple of 250 smokers. Russell Gould was down there in a number 9 finish, staying ahead of Ben Vessels. Nathan Spiro was there, dicing it out in the early stages with Big Mig, that's Miguel De Silva, and Gavin Young. Those guys were all over each other in the early part of the race, trying to lock it down for a number 6 finish. Gav Young eventually took his Bikers Warehouse Husky 350 to a number 6 ride. Xander King, although he came out the gate super strong, he would eventually drop down to a number 5. Looks like he had a big crash towards the end of that race on the 250 YZ Smoker. Up the road then, Jaco Nordia knows what he's doing. Been a while since we've seen the Nordia brothers, but they love this kind of terrain, and this is where they do tend to come to life. Jaco Nordia getting it done to a number 4 finish. Jan Vermeulen, he's got that muscular style, he likes to sit down a lot. He said he was super sore at the end of this one, but where he could, he gripped it and ripped it. And he took the 233 to a number 3 finish. Ben Roostradam, solid in this type of terrain. And the second half of the GXCC Tour really plays into his wheelhouse. We go from Radium to Delmas to Rustenburg, so it's going to be super strong for Benru to try and nail down his championship. There's only one dude better and faster, and unfortunately that's been the story of the season as well. Stoffel getting it done on the 417. Radium is where his championship has come to life. Moving up into the big bangers, Chris Harmster Sr. He had a tough day at the office, but still brought home points for the number 7 ride for the VW Mastercars Hatfield Racing Squad. Up the road from him was Franco Swart getting it done to a number 6. These guys were on the 3-lap count. Big Shane was joining them on the number 3-lap count as well. Medium size, overshooting a couple of times out there, making some mistakes, but that is just fatigue and dust coming into play. So Chris Harmster Sr. in a number 7, Swart on a number 6, and medium-sized Shane takes it to a number 5 finish. Up the road, all about Franner Engelbrecht. He breaks his way inside of a number 4. Not a bad run for the big guy as well. He's starting to find his feet once again on the flat-out format that is GXCC Racing. Thorne Blake for Vans Racing on the Husky gets it done on the big 450 into a number 3 ride. Vans Racing representing up there. One rider up the road on the 304, also just blindsided, missing some of the braking markers out there in the roofed out motocross section was Hardest Fenter on the 304. Solid numbers though, second place, but Burry Smith showing us how important it is to get the big hole shot. Yami ran the pace out front, climbed the ladder, elbows high, and brought the Yamaha home for a big win out at Radium. Riding for Old School Customs, off the front. For the veterans category, Johan Fourie, just 2 laps scored and counted for the big guy, who does double duty racing cross country as well as Kawasaki ZX-10R Masters Cup racing on the tarmac. Stefan Bagnall, always out there, always inside of the top 5. Solid results for him. For the VW Mastercard squad, Dick Bassinger on to a 3-lap racing count, choosing to run on the Smoker. Slightly lighter bike, but yeah, you've got to stay on the pipe to stay above the sand. Willem Swickers rolled out his 4-stroke, always representing in his old school Yami livery. Willem Swickers taking it all the way to a number 3 ride. Marty Poole, consistent, rock solid as ever, stopping to check on his good mate Marco Cocci. Quick high five, check his buds all good, back on the pipe and back on and rolling for Shumwell's Yamaha into a number 2 spot. But as we said, coming out of the gate, he's a sandmaster at motocross, he's a sandmaster at cross country, and he is the master at winning races. Radium was job done out of the gate and all the way to the flag for Jeff Den once again. It's going to be hard to beat in this championship. For the GXCC Master category, Peter Jourdan once again for VW Mastercars Hatfield, bringing it into a championship point scoring position. Andre Mostert, first time back at GXCCs in a couple of years for Ancat Engineering, brings it home inside of a number 7. That's with a burst radiator as well, so he survived a tough day out there. Pierre Smith was up the road. Good gate for Pierre Smith. He ran inside of the top 5 in the early stages on the Yami, eventually dropping down to a number 6, but he stayed on the lead lap with 4 laps counted. Up the road from him was Francois Swanepoel. Spherical Logistics on the Husqvarna, danced his way to a number 5, looked comfortable out there, but just couldn't hold the pace of the top 4. Francois, a former championship hopeful in last season's event, but this year the pace has picked up. One of the guys that's picked up the pace this year and rocking the 300cc 4-stroke Sherco is Anthony van der Walt on his comeback season. Ran good numbers, had a jamming back brake the whole way through the race, but still managed to somehow finish inside of a top 4 and stay on the lead lap. That's a good comeback to cross-country racing. Wayne Farmer fluffed the gate and had to plough the field, and by the time he got through to 3rd place, the top 2 were unfortunately gone. Wayne rocking out on the big Husky 450 4-stroke, not his weapon of choice. He was saving bike number 1 for the Nationals. 3rd place still keeps him in the hunt though. Up the road, it was all about Peter Hol and Kerpersjonk. Hol, unfortunately, finding some trees and bushes not to his liking, ripping his helmet and his plastics apart throughout the race. but he did manage to duct tape himself back together, but unfortunately he lost too much time and dropped down to a eventual number 2 spot. That meant it was all about the Viking, Kurbishonk, now comfortable on the factory Honda, riding out of Franchise Co's Sleepover and Buzz Smith Racing, and he takes the big GXCC win. He'll be happy with that result. Then on to the seniors. We pick up on Ryan Smith as he gets up close and personal with the camera crew out in the sand.
Camera shy.
Not camera shy at all. Get him up, get him rolling. This guy is out there. He loves the sport. He loves to go racing. We make some noise about Ryan Smitty Smith as he gets on up there and gets a number 8 ride going. Up the road from him, it was Conrad Sieber on the big Honda, taking a number 7 place. All these guys taking a 3-lap racing format. Conrad Sieber and then Pierre Buchholz also trying to take out my camera crew. Pierre now riding for the Gravity Racing squad. Not a bad result with a stacked gate of very talented riders as well as tough conditions. Lee Thompson was back into GXCC racing mode and inside of a top 5. Brutal comeback to GXCC cross-country racing to dust things off out at Radium. But Thompson's good. He likes that 250 Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki underneath him. JJ Rousseau, always out there, always muscling the bike around. No mistakes, no big drama. Stayed on the lead lap with 4 laps counted and got it done into a number 4. Yanni Potgieter got the big 500cc out riding for the VW Hatfield Mastercars team, and he was happy with his ride there into a number 3 spot because there were some big swingers up the road. Lawrence Mahoney did come back from that fluffed gate, get himself up through the traffic and challenged for the win. It was a 2-horse race out front with 2 laps to go. Mahoney dancing the big Honda around out there. Just a couple of mistakes, he said. A few crashes and lie downs towards the end of the race took the chance of a win away from him. But second place will keep him pretty happy. Kenny Gilbert, no mistakes at all. Got the big hole shot. Saw Lawrence at some point during the race. They had some bar banging racing action. And then on the last lap, with a mistake from Mahoney, Kenny G was able to pull the pin and run and hide. On to our high school races then, where once again it is hard to call who is going to walk away with the win. There's around about 5 or 6 kids out there that can challenge and take it all the way to the flag. Top 10, Jean-Dre Vermark was inside of a 10 with Brooklyn Lifford getting it to a number 9. Cameron Fairall, we just saw him dancing the Yamaha around inside of a number 8. Alex Strobler was there. Jason Leslie came back into cross-country racing. Hasn't been GXCC racing for around about 2 seasons, focusing on extreme riding, but he's lost none of his style or pace. 6th place finish for him. Dion van Stad has been inside the top 6 the whole way through the season, breaks it now inside of a top 5. Up the road from him was Ruan Opperman. These guys were dicing hard in the first couple of laps of the race. Opperman just a little bit more aggressive, wanted it more, and charged his way inside of the top 4. Timmy Blake, who's been really working on his fitness, and it is showing. Dropped a lot of weight in the off-season, and Timbo on the 159 Vans Racing Husqvarna 125 takes it to a 3rd place and stays on the lead lap. He was strong. Nathan Westerdale, one of the KZN kids, not used to holding it wide open and certainly not used to sand and dust like we have out here in Radium, but 2nd place keeps him solid in the championship hunt. Big story of the day though was Clarkie, Brandon Clark. We've watched the kid develop through all the junior categories and last year in the feeder class for the OR4s. Now he is a 125 GXCC Pro race winner. GXCC OR3 Pros, as we start to climb up into the pro categories, the 250s were singing and dancing out there. Xander van der Linden, who is good in the sand, dropped down to a number 8 but was on the lead lap. John Buerter, Johnny Be Good, was down there into a number 7, just can't seem to find the pace and form that he wants. He's fast, but he wants to be breaking those podiums the whole time. Same story for Ryan Palpser, just cannot break his way into those podiums. We know he can, we know he's a former champ, and it's just tough this season. It's a gnarly gate. Tyron Beverly also in the same form, number 5, but the pace was right there on form. One of the last few guys that actually couldn't go out on the lead lap, but Beverly is building pace and momentum as we go forward into the halfway knuckle of the season. Peter Karam used the GXCCs as his comeback GXCC event after that big national crash earlier on in the season. he managed to complete a 4-lap racing format. Eric Merry is definitely a championship challenger this season, riding on the Bikers Warehouse version of the Honda 250. Third place, scoring points at every single round. He's a player this season for sure. Björn Wenzel on the Pepsi Plastics Factory Kawasaki 250. Also, very good numbers on the page. Second place, but couldn't get onto the back wheel of the eventual race winner. Second place, though, is good enough for his championship challenge after some rough results to start out 2023. Matty Wilson, though, was the man as he climbed the ladder the whole way through the day, eventually finishing inside of the top 5 overall. Yeah, he had that factory brother leader tread KTM 250 singing. Wilson was on an absolute burner. In fact, even picking up a dice with Lawrence Mahoney towards the second half of the event. Let's focus in on the OR2 Pro Gate. Brad Burrell was looking good in the early part of the race, but unfortunately dropping down and having to retire from the race, only dropping to a number 6 finish. TD Gerson looking solid on the two-wheelers. Only his second season racing cross-country on two-wheelers after taking 2 back-to-back quad Q2 championships. CD looking nice now with his highest ever finish, taking a number 5 finish. Warren Pretorius, who we've watched come through the junior categories and just flying under the radar this season, developing on the OR2 gate. Pretorius taking a number 4 finish. Matty Snowman, fastest of the smokers out there on the OR2 Pro Gate. His highest ever GXCC ride, taking 3rd place for the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad. Teek Harrower also tags his best ever GXCC ride, taking 2nd place for the MCA Gas squad. The big guy muscling the bike around. He'll be stoked on that ride. So Dav Cocker is the man and remains the dude to beat on the OR2 Pro Gate, even though he lost his top 2 gears with more than half of the race to go. Cocker still walked away with the category win, but he lost the overall on the day. I think he was more upset about that, but it's more points in the bag for the factory Husqvarna rider. And into the pro big bangers, the OR1s. Henko Hall, yep, same family, same breed, same speed as Peter Hall. A little bit looser though, as he missed a couple of braking markers. Henko getting it done inside of an 808. The holes are super fast at everything on 2 wheels. Just up the road was the Rooster, one of the most popular riders on the gate out here in GXCC land. The fastest privateer on 2 wheels, the Big 5 Honey. 7th place for the Rooster, Rudy Vieira, as he tries to challenge for that top 5 in the championship come the end of the season. Francois de Cref rolled out a freshie, the 2023 Yamaha YZ450. Not a bad dust-off, although he said he made too many mistakes out there, wasn't happy with the number 6 ride, but it's still good numbers on the page. John Vilkin, wild and crazy as always. Definitely going to be challenging for a top 4 in the championship. Consistency is what pays the bills for the Bikers Warehouse Honda rider, with a number 5 finish once again on the 713. Ron Smith was one of the huge stories of the day, rocking out there on a KTM 300 smoker, a former GXCC championship overall winner, and had an incredible day behind the bars. Huge dicing throughout the day and solid points on the plate for 4th place. Up the road was another GXCC former champion and overall winner, JC Nienober on the Pepsi Plastics Factory Kawasaki. 3rd place and looked like the old JC. Nice and loose and fast, the ultimate perfect riding combination. Spectacular to watch and the speed was definitely there. 3rd place, but just couldn't get on the pace of the top 2. Ian Roll, the brawler, was back on the money, back on what he likes, and that is Austrian equipment. The Gas 450, his first time out after only a week of shakedown, and the brawler was almost there on the money. 2nd place, he'll be pretty happy with that, and he looked like a happy camper. But it was this guy, Scotty Haygate, Scotty H, swinging a leg for the first time on a 450, and he showed it is a match made in heaven. He's got to see out his contract for the Nationals on a 350, but you've got to know he's heading 450 for next season after a ride like this. Scotty H taking the overall as well as the OR1 Pro win at the first time of asking. And he was on the money all day long. Didn't see no one until he saw the checkers. Hey Scotty H, I see you're trying to hydrate there, and that probably means you didn't drink the whole way through the race, but that was a burner.
I tried to drink as much of my camel pack as possible, but yeah, I think I got a little bit carried away, had so much fun out there. Yeah, with the most amazing team, to Uncle Kev, to the whole Brother Leader Tread team. Can't give it up enough to them for all that they've done, and for Uncle Kev to bring me out here today. And yeah, to go out there and achieve what we have achieved today, I think is pretty incredible. So yeah, really happy how the day went.
Perfect setup in the morning as well. Obviously, straight out the gate, you had clear air, and that's probably the most clear air you've ever had at the GXCC.
I got my first whole shot ever at a GXCC, so that was pretty cool. Ian did pass me for a few Ks out there, but then once we got into the whooped sandy section, I pulled back up to Ian, and we went at it for a little while, and then I got past him again. He made a little error, and then from there I just rode a smooth race and continued my laps. So yeah, really chuffed with that, and yeah, incredible.
Favorite bit of the track, because we were out there and you were whooping and hollering through all of the motocross and whooped out sections. It was rad.
Yeah, I had so much fun in the sand. We've actually done quite a bit of riding at Saddleberg recently, so to go out there and get into that sand was just awesome.
Brawler, as always, thanks for the show, man.
Thank you very much. I hope I got some good shots there. I felt good in some sections. I'm like, oh, there's a camera guy, I have to send it.
Tell me about the day though, man. That was hard work.
Yeah, it was hard work. When I heard there's another lap, I'm like, yo, just need to stay smooth. I need to survive now. But it was fun. I had a super nice battle with Scotty in the beginning. Passed him, and good luck. He was on me, but I could kind of pull a gap. When we hit the sand, he was just past me and he was gone. I was like, bye-bye, Scotty. But anyway, I had a good race. Yeah, so thank you very much. MCA, Gas, Fast, and Justin from CycleWorks, thank you very much for the awesome setup. That's unbelievable the things, how fast I can hit it and it just absorbs. I'm like, this is cheating.
Dad, once again, looking good. Tell me about the day.
Today it was very nice. First lap, I started out, I got the whole shot, and I led the whole lap. Came into the pits, all good, and then second lap, about halfway through, I lost my 5th and 6th gear, but unfortunately that is what it is, and I'm happy with my ride today. Came home, I think 3rd overall and 1st in class, so happy with it and ready for the next weekend.
Paddy, we said this wasn't necessarily a small bike track, but you made us sing.
I made her sing today, man. Yeah, came out the start, got the whole shot coming out the maze like I wanted, and left the day from the word go. Had a perfect day. My 250 XCF ran like a G, man. Yeah, awesome track. I loved the event so much.
I saw a great shot of you having an amazing dice with Ron Smith early on.
Yes.
He waved you past and then you stalled.
Yes, Ron Smith and I were having a good dice and look at him in the air, and then I stalled in the next corner. It was awesome. Today was awesome.
What about the race? Your good buddy down here on the 350, you almost had him, eh?
Oh, shame. They've been missing 2 gears, but yeah, in the last lap, yes, he was dicing properly. Got him on the straight somehow, and then in the sand was, banging bars, but too much fun.
Kenny, another burner, and like we said in the morning, great battle all day with Laurie.
Yeah, absolutely. I got the whole shot. I think he stalled, and then he caught up to me, and then we diced a little bit. He passed me in the dust, and then I was happy behind him, and then I passed him. And then we literally just was 1-2 to the end. But yeah, what a day. It was nice to race against Lawrence. He kept me honest all day, and the track was really, really rough. So I think the guys struggled with fitness today. But other than that, what a good day.
Laurie, I know you felt that, but you liked it as well.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet. Awesome to be back racing, loving the bike, loving the team. Thank you so much to the team. They're amazing. I'm working with Justin from Shock Logic, and we every step closer to what I want. So yeah, today was good. Bike felt good. Had a bad start, dead last again. So yeah, I'm going to work on the starts. But then it was so cool. I rode with Kenny for quite a bit. He overshot one corner on the first lap. I managed to pass him. Then I led for a while, and then I accidentally rode into a back marker, crashed. Kenny came past, and then I just tried to catch Kenny, and we finished close together, and it was a good race. It was a good race. Well done to the organisers. Awesome farm. I love this place. Thick sand, rough. So it's good racing, yeah.
Hey Viking, we found the magic, but you and Peter, wow.
It was hard work today. It was, as you said this morning, the start was so important. And he was just in front of me, and I think I passed him in the pits. I don't know what happened there. I didn't realize I was in front of him.
Yeah.
Only after the second lap that they said I'm still in front of Peter. I didn't really. So, but it was all in all. Thanks so much for GXCC. Thanks for you guys for the. I just want to thank Eric Grobler from Honda and Sleepover so much. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for them, it wasn't possible. and especially to my wife and kids at home that support me. Thanks a million. I appreciate it.
Peter, tell me your story, because there's been bits of plastics hanging off your helmet, off your bike. What happened?
Yes, and I for the first time I got the whole shot, and from there on I didn't really feel much for the rest of the race. No, it was hectic. When you go into the bushes, like you said before to me before the race, those bushes, I think it ripped off my thing and my shroud, and it was bothering me all the time. But no excuses. Kobus came in, and after the refuel he was in front of me, and dust is definitely an issue. But in the sand, it's hard work day, and I really think he was just a better rider for today. And yeah, that's it.
It's really hard work in the sand when you don't stand up.
Yes. I can tell you, if it wasn't for Leon, I would have had to stand up, but at least I could have sat. But my back just couldn't hold it. Yeah. So I really think. But Kobus was. I was behind him for a long time in the sand, but he was just faster, and I just couldn't keep up. That's it.
Clarkie, what a journey. Your first ever 125 big boy win. Tell me how it feels.
Very good. It was very tough in the beginning with all the dust, but I managed to catch Derek, and then we followed each other for the second lap, and then I just managed to make the pass and lead from there.
It's a tough track. Tell me how Radium held up today.
It got worse and worse as the day got on, especially the sand sections. It was horrible at the end.
Tell me, because everyone's going to ask, you know, the first 125 win, where do we go from here?
Onwards and upwards.
Hey Queenie, how was that one? That's a whooped out track.
Yo, I haven't raced the GXCC since last year, sometime in the middle of the year. My hands really felt those hoop sections, but it was really nice to do something different for a change, I would say.
Yeah. From your face, I can see it was dusty.
I can only imagine.
Tell me about the layout of the track, because that was a big loop.
It was a really long loop. I think it's about 50 k's a loop. Sand section, pretty much 80% of the loop. Forest section was really nice. I think it was about 10 k's or so. I really enjoyed the forest, but it got whooped out so much. Yeah.
Well done. Let's go and pick up on the confirmation of the results. Scotty H on the top step of the Pro Big Bangers in the OR1s ahead of Royal, Nienalba, Smitty and Vilken. Onto the OR2 pros. Cocker hammering the nail once again, and that's without two of the top gears. Wow, what a ride. Harrower, Snyman, Pretorius, Huerson and Burrell take us to the steps. OR3 pros, Wilson beating out on Wenzel and Mary Karam down in the number 4 ahead of Beverly and Peltzer. High school, all about Clarkie. Congrats, taking your first ever high school 125 GXCC win ahead of Westerdale and Blakey. Senior pros, all about Kenny G and Mahoney. Watch for that fight to pick up as the season goes on. Potgieter, Rousseau and Thompson to the top 5. In the Masters Gate, Kobus Jong takes his first GXCC win in a long time, beating out on Hull, Farmer, Van der Walt and Swanepoel. Veterans, Jeff Den, the Sandmaster, hammering the nail on Poole, Swiggers, Bessinger, Bagnall and Furry. Into the Pro-Am gates with the OR1s, Smitty ahead of Fenter, Blake Engelbrecht. Nienalba was down there with Swat and Chris Homser Sr. taking us to a number 7. OR2's all about Stoffberger getting it ahead of Stratum, Vermeulen, Nordia and King, with Gav Young taking us to a number 6 ride. OR3 Pro-Am's busy gate this one, Visser ahead of Stratum, Mostert, Herbst, Kutzer and Buerter. Swat just outside of the gate in a number 7. OR4's John Bart Moritz, double duty for him. Druckers van der Merwe, same story. Franco Ferry, Clerk and Freeman. Ladies pros, all about the Queen Cat getting it done ahead of Tepuch and Duplessis. Pro-Ams, all about Edwards, Teron and Janssen. So that was Radium, and that was round number 3 of the GXCCs as we hold our breath and get ready for the second half of the GXCC Championship. 3 rounds done, 3 rounds remaining, and we are heading to Delmas in just over a month. So hold your breath. Winter is here. There's more winter to come, which means it's going to be dust ball racing. And there are 3 rounds to go. No throwaways. It's nail biting from here until the final checkers in 2023. All this GXCC racing action is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. So that is round number 3 of a 6-round championship with 0 throwaways for the GXCCs this time around. So every point on the plate is absolutely needed and required to nail down a championship. If you guys are in the running, make sure you guys get on the gate for rounds 4, 5, and 6. Round number 4 is going to be out in Delmas in just over a month's time, so make sure the entries go in quick for that. This is the shortest run we've had so far. Big gaps between the GXCCs in the early part of the season, and now it's going to be go time. July, a little bit thin on the ground as far as the events go. So for now, we're going to be focusing in on the national championship. Me and the lads were up there last weekend, and that was GXCC for the doubleheader round. That is a show that's going to be going out on SpeedTV. So remember to go check out that channel, and we'll remind you of that as we get closer to the airing and the premiere of that. We're putting a lot of effort into the show before we go into July. July is going to be GXCC racing once again. And then in August, we've got double time. We've got Forge and Farm Jam coming back at you right now. This was GXCC round number 3. We look forward to the rest of their championship, and hold your breath. Nationals. That's going to be a big one. GXCC doubleheader. We'll share the link as soon as she's ready. For now, stay tuned. Catch you on the line.